Today I'm going to show you a Thailand fantasy adventure film from 2022 titled Leio. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts in a desert where two men are hunting lizards, ignoring a danger sign. One of them finds a giant hole after his friend went missing, and a beast emerges from the hole and grabs him while trying to escape on his motorcycle. Following this in a party, the performing musician, Ko, thanks his cousin Jane for getting him the gig since he was broke after he left his recording label after a dispute with his boss. While Ko and Jane are talking about the label, Jane receives a call that their grandpa, Wood, just passed away. Later, they travel to their hometown for the funeral preparations as Ko recalls how his grandpa taught him to drill for underground water. They arrive at their hometown and Ko meets his family members, including Yo, their family friend, who is a big fan of Ko's music, and Jane's mother, who welcomes them. Ko also meets Fawn, their family friend who is also a top YouTuber who complains that Ko has no time for his family. Next scene recalls how Ko and Fawn met while young, where Fawn calls him kind like his grandpa. Fawn later leaves and the family gives Ko the inheritance his grandpa left him, a rusty old car that served them for 10 years. Back in the giant monster hole, the man wakes up in the hole and a giant lizard was there eating his friend. Ko recalls how his grandpa vowed to protect him after his parents passed away. He then watches Fawn's YouTube video, where she plans to bring water back to her dry hometown. She then initiates a challenge, promising $1 million for the first crew to locate groundwater in that desert. Ko asks his friends to prepare the car, and he, Yo, and Jane head to the contest. More people appear for Fawn's challenge, and Fawn thanks the chief for supporting the mission, and explains to him the mission also honors Grandpa Wood, who liked water. Fawn welcomes all participants to the challenge, unaware of the lurking beast. Ko meets Fawn, who taunts him for leaving his music career for the drilling challenge, who argues that he is honoring his grandpa, but Jane knows that he needs the money. The chief explains the challenge and gives each participant a flare and a map. Boss Me, a big shot in the drilling business, arrives in fancy fashion and the others worry that they stand no chance. He proudly explains to the chief that he joined only to work with the gorgeous Miss Fawn, and for the good of society, terming himself as a good-hearted person. He also invites Fawn to dinner and asks for her number, but she refuses. Ko also meets and taunts Boss Me, who then leaves them, and later, the challenge begins. Each team uses various gadgets and various methods to detect aquifers and underground water. The teams fail to find anything and move further to different places. One of the teams call back saying they found a motorcycle and they plan to leave the contest and head home. However, a giant lizard chases after them and traps them in its giant hole. Ko's team moves further, and they find some local thugs who warn them not to go near the big mountains where mysterious creatures exist. After no success, Ko asks them to pack and head home, but the car fails to start up. In the car, he finds their grandpa's map of underground water sources, and they discover differences between the two maps. Boss Me leaves with his team after failed work and invites the two organizers for dinner, but Fawn refuses. Some contestants spend the night at the desert and eat roasted lizards while discussing the myths about powerful spirits present around. One of them goes to pee and a flying lizard chops off his head and throws it to the others. This scares them and they get into their car to escape, but the beast attacks them in their car. The following day, the chief and Fawn realize that some of the participants are disappearing, and the chief explains the mysterious disappearances, so Fawn opts to cancel the dangerous challenge. Boss Me, however, tells the chief not to cancel, since he will find the water and gain victory. The chief notices a hole in the participant's car but shuts up and convinces Fawn not to cancel the tournament, since it was superstitious rumors. Ko's team further find a cave which they move in. Inside the dark cave, Jane thinks she saw something move, but they brush it off. They find dump walls and discover that a spring of water could be on the other side. Yo also notices some movement and the giant lizard grabs him, causing Ko and Jane to run outside. The two warn the others about the monster which ate Yo alive, but they ignore in disbelief. However, the beast grabs one of them and they all jump onto Boss Me's truck. The monster lizard appears and swallows the chief alive, while Fawn and Ko escape its chase by jumping back into its hole, and the beast goes after the others in the truck. Terrified, Boss Me and Jane hide in the truck and the beast rests on top of the truck. Ko and Fawn inside the cave hear the sound of a phone, which they follow. Jane and Me then plan to escape with Boss Me's van outside, but have to get to it first. They find out the creature is sleeping, and Boss Me asks Jane to go first. In the cave, Ko and Fawn find the lizard's nursing ground and also find Yo and more people who are preserved as meals for the lizard's babies. Jane and Me leave the truck, but Jane manages to enter the van, leaving Boss Me behind, who is swallowed by the lizard. Fawn urges Ko to rescue the others, but Ko refuses and remembers how his grandpa refused to attend his medal award ceremony. Fawn, however, tells Ko that Grandpa failed to show up since on the way he found injured Fawn and took her to the hospital, and tells him Grandpa would never leave him. They head back to help Yo, and the lizard also preserves Boss Me with its spit. They discover the wall is handmade and protects the lizard from water which it hates, and then head outside and warn other participants of the beast. The lizard appears and the men try to shoot it down, but they fail and the beast attacks them. The lizard also swallows Fawn and leaves with her while Ko watches in despair. Ko tells the men of the lizard's nursing ground and asks them to help rescue those captured. The men refuse since they are too terrified to help, and Ko fires a flare for help. The thugs and Jane appear together. They discuss a plan to defeat the monster. Meanwhile, Yo wakes up to see the lizard preserving Fawn, but it's interrupted by the noise outside and leaves in the process. The men above use loud music to lure the monster and set a trap for it. The lizard comes out and they trap its neck, while Jane and the other men enter the cave and begin to rescue Yo, Fawn, and the others. The men outside trap the lizard and use vehicles and huge spears to pierce it. The lizard frees itself, but a man hits it with fire, causing it to crawl back into the hole. The men free Yo, Boss Me, and the others, but Boss Me runs in a different direction. They all head out of the cave and meet the others outside. However, they discover Fawn is missing, and after they set explosives on the walls inside, Ko takes the detonator and heads into the cave to find Fawn. Fawn finds Boss Me, but they meet with the lizard. The lizard chased Fawn and Ko appears and stabs the lizard's head. He falls down and he stabs the lizard again, causing it to move from them. The lizard then grabs Fawn by its tail, ready to eat her, but Ko fires a flare through it, causing it to release her, and later they escape after attacking it using an axe. Later, Ko presses the detonator, causing the walls to explode, and water comes streaming into the cave. The monster follows them, but the water engulfs it, and they escape outside where they meet Jane and Yo. Just then, streams of water burst from the ground and they rejoice over their success. Ko thanks Fawn for not leaving him, and they all leave together in a car. Later, Boss Me also emerges from one hole, holding a lizard egg as he giggles, which brings the thrilling movie to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.